So, Fred and Fran, everybody has a story for being a street angel, but your story is rather particular. It all goes back to Boxing Day 2007. Tell us more.
That's right, Robert had gone out with his brother for the night. They'd gone out just to enjoy a night out, as youngsters do. Unfortunately, Robert became separated from his brother and became unwell, and the nightclub felt that the best thing to do was to remove him from the nightclub. So he... Sorry, I'm not doing a good...
And say CCTV picked him up, weaving unsteadily across the road and back again. And it's not until later that we heard that the police were equating Robert's disappearance with something that had happened outside New York, and then something else that had happened down at the riverbank later. And they began to warn us that it might be Robert's body that they might be looking for.
I can imagine that was a very difficult place for you to be in as his parents.
It was. We didn't want to believe that he was dead. We carried on looking for him and hoping that he was alive up till the end. I think, to be honest, I'd always had a fear that the worst might have happened, because it was so unlike Robert to go missing in the way that he had. He would never leave the house, leave for any period of time without letting us know. And he had asthma, and I just had the worry that he'd gone for a walk on a remote footpath, had an asthma attack, and the result really would have been the same. But what actually happened to him was far more violent than that. He was picked up by 3 youths in the town centre outside of the New York nightclub. He was robbed. They took him to the ATM machines and tried to get money from him that way. They beat him up and eventually threw him over the engineer's bridge over the River Ouse on the embankment. And that sadly was the end of our road.
Just if you wouldn't mind sharing briefly, what was your motive for wanting to approach the Salvation Army to get involved in such an initiative like starting Street Angels here in Bedford?
I think for me, partly it was, even if nothing had happened to Robert, had the initiative started, I would have wanted to ask him, did he mind if we joined it? It's sort of the sort of thing that my heart would have been leaning towards being part of anyway. But when he's died, and the reasons why, and Street Angels came into being, for me it's just part of sharing God's love with people, and in the hope that nothing like this will happen to them.
But surely as you go out onto the streets, as you do as committed volunteers, surely it must bring it all back to you. What happened to Robert?
It does from time to time, not all the time. I guess particularly when we are outside New York, we saw the CCTV footage of Robert very drunk and wandering around, staggering around, and it's difficult remembering that and remembering what's happened after that to him. But we're out there for a purpose. We've got a reason for being out there. Robert's not out there anymore. We're not looking for Robert. We want to help people who are in similar circumstances, and we want to be God's eyes and ears, arms, hands on the streets of Bedford. We want to show God's love to others. We feel that it is a very important part of the mission of the church, and obviously we have a very personal connection with what the Street Angels are doing through what's happened to us.
It's an amazing story, you know, that you share, and a very powerful one. But you know, nevertheless, one of the things that comes through to me for speaking to you is that sense at which, you know, out of a tragedy really, has come some good by the work that Street Angels is doing.